Good night of Shabbos. It's Shabbos Nachmu. Shabbos Nachmu means a transformative Shabbos. There was no other joyous occasion like the 15th day of Av, which is the Shabbos. So it's Shabbos Nachmu, the Shabbos in which we read the consolation of God, that God is going to console us from all the destructions. And it's also the 15th day of Av where God shows us that we have the greatest joy possible. And the 15th day of Av, the girls of Eretz Yisrael would go in white dresses and they would dance in a circle and they would tell the boys, look, you have to get married. And they would make marriages on that day. And the 15th day, they did that on Yom Kippur also, and that was the greatest holiday, because the greatest thing is to establish new homes. The idea is that there's a continuity of Judaism, of Yiddishkeit, and through marriages there will be children and grandchildren learning Torah and doing mitzvahs and doing the words of God. I want to tell you that Israel is a transformative land, a land that took all the negativity of the world and has shown the world that it's going to go against all that negativity. The world says Israel has to make peace with the Palestinians. How can you make peace with people who are dedicated to kill you? The Palestinian constitution has that they will never make peace with Israel, that there only is, wherever there was the previous borders of the Palestinian mandate, that will all return to Arab control. That's what they say. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They mean they're going to kill all the Jews. So how do you do peace with them? You can't do peace with them. You know, it's silly to go ahead and say you're going to have a solution with people who want to kill you. It's like saying we'll have a solution with the Nazis. The Nazis want to kill you. You don't want to kill Nazis. How are you going to survive? How are you going to survive with the Nazis next door to you? Oh, they're not. They are Nazis. They're worse than Nazis. They're worse than the Nazis. They were embarrassed to show the murders that they did. They were embarrassed. They didn't publicize. They burnt all the bodies, covering up the numbers of people that they killed, because they were embarrassed by it. The Hamas and the so-called Palestinians, they're happy about it. Every Jew they kill and gets killed in the process is a martyr, holy martyr, and they pay the salary of, they pay the family because they were killers, Jew killers. Then they pay them a bounty for being Jew killers. There's no such thing as a two-state solution. The only solution is Judea and Samaria, Yehuda and Shomron, which is the land that they occupy, is Jewish land. It belonged to the Jews. Hebron belonged to the Jews. Nablus, which is their capital, is the city of Shem that belongs to the Jews. That was the city of Yosef. That was the city of Ephraim. So this is nonsense. This is the holy cities, places which belong to the Jews, and the only solution is that it should be a Jewish state. That's the only solution. So you ask me, how can you do that politically? The answer is, it's not a matter of politics. Politics is false, inherently false. Here an example. When the United States pulled out of Vietnam, they did a whole peace plan, and they got Ho Chi Minh together with Henry Kissinger, and I think they both won peace prize for the end of the Vietnamese War. What happened? The next year, Ho Chi Minh and his hordes and his minions attacked the South Vietnamese and overran Saigon, and that was the end of South Vietnam forever. And they became completely under the thumb of Ho Chi Minh and the communists. They're still a communist country, still a dictatorship, but they're independent of communist China, but still, they didn't accomplish anything by the peace. It was a false peace. You can't make a false peace because that's politics, is a false peace. Politics is false in its essential nature. So how can that be? You only want yourself for yourself. It's only, listen, if the reality of the world was based upon that people can get together and they can enjoy life together, and they can respect each other and get along with each other. If that really existed, peace would have been around a long time ago. The Arabs have given an opportunity to make peace with Israel many times. The Oslo Accords were drawn up in 1991, and there was hope there's going to be a two-state solution. It wasn't destroyed by the murder of Yitzhak Rabin. It was destroyed because Arafat did not believe in the peace process. Arafat, who signed the Oslo Accords, believed that Palestine had to be created by the necks of the people of Palestine, that they had to engage in jihad, and his purpose was not the territories, because those were the things that were going to be promised to him if they got along. If you get along and you make peace, so you have, they were ready to give him basically all that he wanted, including most of the old city of Jerusalem. And he refused. He refused several times. Because Arafat was not interested in a peace with Israel. Arafat was interested in destroying Israel. It's just a ruse. The unfortunate reality is that you cannot make peace with those who believe in Islam, and the radical Islamists, and those who feel that the Jews have no right to the land. And that's what they feel. So there is no two-state solution, because this one state will try to attack the other state. And it's not the Jewish state against the Arabs. The Arabs will try to attack the Jews, just like they did with Gaza. There was no reason for Gaza to attack Israel. Oh, the embargo, the blockade, was because they were shooting at the Jews, and the blockade was to stop them from rearming, from having missiles. The blockade was for them to prevent them from making tunnels. They took all their money that people gave them for food and used it for making tunnels where they could attack Jews from. That's what they did. So it wasn't because the Jews made the blockade, it was because they were attacking Jews. Jews were not interested in making a blockade. They were interested in giving them, here, take Gaza and make a home for yourself. You have the most beautiful beaches on earth. Make it into the Riviera. Donald Trump said it. You can make it some of the most beautiful real estate in the world. What do they do with it? Instead of making it a haven for their people where they could make money from tourism, that they could make something, do something. Look, Israel had nothing, and it created an incredibly industrious group of people, and the economy of Israel is wonderful. That's because people work, people try to better themselves. All you need is an industrious group of people who want to better themselves. And Gaza would have been just like Israel. What's the difference? Israel had nothing, had no natural resources. Gaza has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. It could be the most beautiful place of vacations in the world. Abu Dhabi. I mean, look at what they're doing in Qatar and the Emirates. They're making it into a place for people to visit. A playground for the wealthy. And that's what Gaza could have been. Instead, they made it into a base to try to kill Jews. That's reality. And that's what the Hamas manifesto, the Hamas constitution says, that their purpose is to destroy the Zionist state and get rid of all the Jews. That's what they're saying. That's what they proclaim. And that's what the so-called Palestinians of the West Bank are saying. And the truth is, though, that land is Judea and Samaria, Yehuda and Shamra, Jewish land. So they're sitting on stolen land. It's our land. We want it fair and square. We didn't throw them out, but they're sitting on our land. And the only solution is that it's part of Israel. It's annexed. What are you going to do? Are you going to give them full citizenship for voting rights? I don't know what we're going to do. But clearly, it's not a solution. It's not a solution to go ahead and give over a portion of the land of Israel to Nazis. And the Torah tells us what to do. This is your land. Keep your land and develop it and work it and expand within it. And if those people will work with you, you can keep them. And if they won't work with you, then you don't keep them. That's ethnic, not ethnic balancing. You can't live with the people if they're attacking you. They want to get rid of you. You have to if you have cancer, you got to cut the cancer out. Not make it into, not allow the cancer to grow on its own. It's going to kill you. Anyway, that's the story. So what is the solution? The solution is that Yehuda and Shomra should be considered, and once again, part of Eretz Yisrael. And what do you do with the people? Exactly what happens with the people who live in Nazareth. Nazareth elite. There's about 2 million Arabs who live in Israel. And most of them are peaceful. Most of them follow the rules. Some of them even serve in the army. Some of them are judges. Some of them many of them are doctors. About 35% of the doctors in Israel, I think, are Arabs. And they treat Jews, and Jews treat Arabs. So it's possible. But it's not possible with the present Palestinian Authority, with their ideology. That's not possible. No, the only answer is a one-state solution, and that it's Greater Israel. Will they have voting rights? Probably not voting rights. Okay, so they'll have voting rights. No, we're not going to allow the 4 million people from outside claim that they're refugees from Palestine to come back. No, it's a Jewish state. We keep it as a Jewish state. How is it going to be a Jewish state for sure if they're going to outgrow you? I don't know. We'll have to worry about that when time comes. But I think that right now, Jewish birth rate is equal or greater than the Arab birth rate in Israel, and will continue to be that way because the religious Jews have about 7 kids per family. The religious Zionist Jews average about 5 kids per family. And that's what I got. I got 7 kids, and my sister, who's a religious Zionist, got 5 kids. And we're average. So that's what the average birth rate is in Israel, and that's going to be able to repopulate, keep the Jews on the majority. And the Jews generally want to have a free country, and they want to have elections, and they want to have a free society, and they want to have, that everybody should enjoy the fruits of their labors, which is good. I don't begrudge the Arabs their parnosa, and that they should have a good life and they can worship Allah as long as they don't try to kill me. So that's what the story is, Chevra. The only solution is a one-state solution of Greater Israel. That's the only solution. And that's what the Torah says. That's what God says in the Bible. It's your land. And the end result it'll be your land. Doesn't make a difference what Starmer says, what Macron says. The Starmer, Macron, and all those clowns, all of those countries have a history of killing Jews. Very sad history. And they stopped thinking about that and glorifying that in the past after the Holocaust. But now, it's 80 years after the Holocaust, they don't feel so guilty anymore. But they contributed to the deaths of 6 million Jews. The French, I think 70 to 80% of the Jews they gave over to the Nazis. That was the great friends that we had in France. The English, who claimed that they're our friends, they're not our friends. The English allowed for the deaths of millions of Jews. They did not allow Jews to come to Israel to escape the Nazis. They contributed to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Jews directly, and indirectly to the death of millions of Jews, because they could have stopped the deportations by bombing the railways. Once they knew that there was the shipment of Jews to Auschwitz, they could have bombed those railways and stopped it. They could have bombed Auschwitz's killing fields. They knew where it was. They knew they could have done many things to stop the murder of Jews, but they didn't. They chose not to. After the war, oh, everybody, this is terrible. But when you had a chance, you didn't do anything about it. So Britain, their hands are bloodied. Britain gave over the land of Israel to the Arabs. They left all of the high points in the hands of the Arabs. They armed the Arabs and forbade the Jews from having arms. The Jews had to steal arms into the country, and if a Jew was caught bringing arms in the country, they would kill him. That's the story. That's the history of what the British, the great British, the democratic country of the British did with Israel. So that's the reality, Mr. Stalin. Mr. Stalin, you're just continuing the same thing as Bevan, same thing as all of those British prime ministers who tried to destroy Israel before it ever became a nation. And you're just continuing that because by bringing in our enemies and recognizing our enemies, you want the destruction. Oh, no, there's going to be a solution. No solution. As you see from Gaza, there's no solution. The only solution is what it says in the Torah. The Torah says, the prophets actually predict. Amazing thing. The prophets say that all of the nations of the world will attack Jerusalem. Why will they attack Jerusalem? What do they want with Jerusalem? The answer is the Jews have Jerusalem, so they don't want the Jews to be in Jerusalem, to control Jerusalem. It's a tragic thing. But the prophets also say that the Jews will win. That's what the prophets also say. And that's what I believe is going to happen. So instead of having a war, why don't we just sit down and have a couple of drinks and say l'chaim, and realize that God created this world and he made a book and gave it to the world and said to the world, you have to follow the laws of Noah. And in order to follow the laws of Noah properly, there will be a nation who will show you how to do it. That's called the Jewish nation. And I'm making a covenant with them. And they will be a light for all of you. If you follow what they do, you'll be okay. But if you don't, terrible things are going to happen. That's what happened. Terrible things have happened. But in the end, God says the Jews will come back to Israel. There will be light to all the nations. So instead of doing it the hard way, Mr. Starmer, why don't you take a l'chaim, come and have lunch with Bibi, and come to the Kosel Maravi and pray to God that you get wisdom, and pray to God that there be peace. True peace. True peace doesn't mean that we have to give up land. Sorry. True peace means we're not going to fight anymore because it's stupid. The Saudis, it's better for you to make peace with Israel in a good way, because Israel could become your greatest ally. And you'll be more prosperous. You know that the oil's going to run out. So what do you have left? You have your brains. How do you work with your brains? You see what the Jews did, and they'll help you do that. And you will also have a great society developed in conjunction with the Jews. That's what you're looking at if you make peace, true peace with Israel. And the world makes peace with Israel, then God will make peace with you, and we'll make peace with everybody else. And that's the whole idea of the 15th of Menachem Av, that all the nations will lay down their anger and their hatred and want to come close to God, and the Chassidim and the Yidden will show them how.